Welcome back, everyone, to the series that I titled King of Uranium Stocks, the 1v1 uh, comparison, which do I prefer of the two? Round two, right here. And here's a reminder of the completely unfair rules and some other associated commentary. So, with all that read, let's get into round two. So we begin round two with APPIA versus ANFEILD. This is a tricky matchup because if you look at the out of the money kicker, so to speak, you have on one side the mill and on the other side the Banana Lake. Now, I really don't hold the Banana Lake project for at APPIA as something that will definitely have value. But if we're looking at downside risk, they both kind of have a asset that protects a little bit against downside risk, and then you compare the two, and APPIA has, let's say, big find potential in the basin, which could take it much higher. So of the two, I'm going to give the win to APPIA. Next in round two, we have FORSYS versus Global Atomic. So both of these are companies that aren't trying to spend more than they can afford. Uh, FORSYS has mainly shut down operations. They'll probably find a new CEO and do some stuff once the price of uranium recovers a bit. Global, they may have to, as I said in the last one, they may have to require a little bit more money ahead of when they can afford it. The cash flow may not be ready on time for them to continue advancing the projects. If I were them, I would try and get a small credit facility to ease that transition. But if they can't, they'll have to finance a little bit. So once we get through that, global, the projects, they're big projects, slightly less good, well, less good jurisdiction, but the upside potential is, in my view, a lot better with global, and they can continue to advance the projects while the bear market or the bull market fails to begin. So global is the winner here for me. Next, we have PLATEAU versus Encore. This is actually a tough one for me. Um, PLATEAU has fallen a lot, and the market cap is so enticing right now. But why is that? It's because of the questions. And do I have an answer to those questions? No. And I would really hate to be so right on uranium and so wrong on PLATEAU. That being said, I own it, but I also own Encore. And Encore also has a fantastic management team. And when I look at the two, I'm discouraged by how much PLATEAU seems to be talking about lithium because I am much more bullish on uranium than lithium. Lithium, the price has come down a lot, and who knows what happens next. But I want to be in the investment for uranium. And while I still do like both, I still do own both. The winner here is Encore for me. So, yeah. So next up, a battle of two Aussie listed companies, again, in that Vimy Resources and Peninsula. And I'll be honest, while thinking this through, it was harder than I thought because I went into this and I thought, well, I prefer Boss to Peninsula and I preferred Vimy to Boss, so Vimy is going to get the win. And again, Vimy will get the go through here. Um, but really, when you break it down, it was another tough choice because they're both really interesting companies, and but I just think Vimy has a bit more upside potential and has a number of things going that put it ahead of Peninsula. Next, we have Bannerman versus LARAMIDE. Both are ones I like. Here, the question really has to be, when do you think the price, or how much conviction do you have that the price is going to go soon? And how high do you think the price is going to go? Because Bannerman is stronger in terms of can last for longer without dilution, and LARAMIDE requires a less high price. So really that has to be the question here. If you want something with less risk and maybe stronger down the line, then the answer is Bannerman. If you think the price is going to be at 40 by the end of the year, well, then maybe LARAMIDE. Because I have in a number of these kind of biased away from risk, Bannerman's going to be the winner of these two. Next, we have DENISON versus NEXGEN. This is another one that's very difficult for me. Both fantastic projects, both I really like. Now, the reason why I'm going to go with DENISON is because I think there's a good chance that it will be ready before to significantly before NEXGEN. And I also think that DENISON has a much greater chance of going into production this cycle. Now, I think they'll both go into production as long as permitting goes smoothly. NEXGEN, though, it seems further away from production than I can really picture in terms of having a price environment. Now it is, of course, a bigger deposit, maybe the best mineral deposit in the world. So this decision does not come easily to me, but I'm going to go with DENISON if, presumably, unless you really don't believe that the ISR is going to work, but if it does work, then I think DENISON has to be the pick here. Next, we have physical against Uranium Energy Corp. And this is a tricky one because just physical, like just buying the physical unlevered, I think I would maybe be more inclined to go with Uranium Energy Corp. Although because I would feel all right with using a bit of leverage and buying the physical, and if we're trying to compare an apples to apples leverage play on uranium versus leverage play on uranium, which equities are, then I would probably give the edge to the physical, assuming you were to play it leverage to a degree. And finally, for round two, we have Cameco against UR Energy. And I have to say, there's probably a bit more upside potential in UR Energy. But based on the strength now and the ability to continue to be strong, continue to pay a dividend, and be diversified in case this thing takes longer, and maybe to, I don't know if Cameco would want to undercut price or what in an environment that would give them cash flow. They are probably stronger. And so for at least the initial parts of the bull market, the early days, as you were, I would be inclined to go with Cameco. So that's it for the matchups for this time. I know there were a few that maybe could have been a bit closer with a different lens looked at, but really I thought it wasn't too bad, and I just kind of continued with the bracket that I made last time. Now, an interesting thing happened last time. There were a number of conversations and comments that were quite thoughtful and that were sparked by, I guess, the last video. A number of people said a number of things or some good discussions. So I just want to point out that if you disagree with something and you thought of something or had some question or whatever, feel free to ask it, because there were a number of things that were, or some things that were mentioned last time that quite a few people seem to be interested in. So I may go to them in a subsequent video. And if there's interest in the topics, then it's more likely. So let me know. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was round 2. Round 3 will be coming soon. And there were some tough decisions. Well, in round 1 and round 2 was pretty hard decisions at some point. And I'll have to be honest, we've already gotten to a point where I've knocked out some of my own positions embarrassingly early. And so, yeah, we'll have to see if that continues. And so, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. And until next time, good luck.